It's Hyp3r Halloween.
Now here's a film that sold me based on the DVD cover. The killer's costume looks incredibly badass. So much so that I was afraid that the film itself wouldn't live up to this person on the cover. We'll get to that in a bit though. Let's get this back on course. Today is 2014's Blood Widow. It's a by-the-numbers low-budget slasher film that doesn't necessarily go out of its way to be unique, but it has a lot of heart, and, like I mentioned, a cool costume baddie. It was written and directed by Jeremiah Buchholz. From what I read, it was Buchholz's first film, and was made 1 month after graduating film school. Anyway, enough opening fluff, let's go over the plot. The film centers around Hugh and Laurie, a couple that just purchased a beautiful weekend home in the countryside. It is a beautiful home, and I'm assuming they got it for a steal because, well, it needs quite a bit of work. The couple want to take their relationship to the next level, and purchasing this house seems like a step in the right direction. That is, until they find out about their neighbor. More on that in a bit, though. Tensions quickly rise between Hugh and Laurie, as Hugh's friends immediately show up to the new country house just minutes after signing the paperwork. Apparently, Hugh and his friend Mark decided to throw a party on the same day they closed on the house. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever. Need to get this plot moving somehow. Some of Hugh's friends wander off to the neighbor's house just through the woods. The house looks abandoned, but the yard looks somewhat maintained. The four friends break into the house, trash it a bit, because why not, and get a sense that something is a little off. They leave, and we see that the Blood Widow is watching them from the window. Later on in the movie, more people show up to Hugh and Laurie's house to party. And oh boy, do they party. Fun is had, and hearts are broken. One friend, Harmony, leaves the party and goes back to the Blood Widow's house. She's ultimately attacked by the Blood Widow and killed. The next day, Hugh and Laurie get into a fight over Hugh's desire to party all the time. But, and more importantly, the group notices that Harmony is missing. The group goes to search for her at the Blood Widow's home, but there's no sign of Harmony anywhere. We find out that the Blood Widow's house was once a boarding school. The school was closed down due to one of the young girls there murdering someone. Or at least that's the story the realtor tells Laurie. Obviously, it's true though, and the Blood Widow is the all-grown-up version of the little murderous girl. Shortly after this revelation, the Blood Widow starts to attack the remaining friends, and the movie plays out like your typical slasher film. And honestly, that's the film in a nutshell. I mentioned that this plays out like your typical run-of-the-mill slasher film, and it does, but it was still good enough to hold my attention throughout the film. The kills range from okay to pretty decent, and it also looks like practical effects were mostly used from what I could see. But that leads me to my main issue with the movie. It's way too dark in some of the scenes. And I don't mean that in the film is depressing kind of way. I mean that as in I can't see anything kind of way. There are a few shots where a single light is used to accentuate certain features, like the Blood Widow mask, but otherwise, it's like staring at a black screen in some scenes. Darkness aside, and going back to the topic of the costume looks amazing. The suit that the Widow wears is this combination of a bodysuit, heavy fatigues, and leather. And the mask appears to be like a death mask that's snapped to the suit. It's simple, but effective. The mask actually creates this striking image amongst the darkness in the film, and honestly, that looks really good. It's just a shame you can't see much of anything else in other scenes. Apparently, the Blood Widow's costume wasn't even created for the film. Jeremiah Buchholz sketched the costume idea prior to making the film, so that's a pretty cool tidbit. All in all though, if you're a fan of low-budget slashers, like me, then you may enjoy Blood Widow. It has a typical slasher plot and a really cool antagonist. Go check it out if you're interested.